Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video, and this is a paid request from Jonathan Lindsey. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reviews, re-reviews, video game playthroughs, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Nightmare Before Christmas, a film that came out around 1993 that a lot of people will mention Tim Burton. Rightfully so, because he definitely had a big influence on this. But Henry Selick is the one who directed it. He's an animator, in particular stop motion animation, which is beautiful format. I love the art style of stop motion because it's animation, but yet you could feel and see the physicality of it because it's physical. It's actually there. So it's animation, but it's three-dimensional. It's very interesting format. And this is a film that I don't know if I would say I grew up with, as I probably saw it like once or twice back in the day, but I didn't see it often like other people did. But it is an enjoyable movie. I was surprised watching it and how short it is. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. Very short, very much to the point. It has very catchy songs, in particular, This Is Halloween. I would say This Is Halloween and what's this? This is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. In this town we call home. Teen. Talk about the pumpkin teen. I mean, if you know the song, you know the song. Great song, very catchy. You hear it a lot, especially during the Halloween season, understandably so. And you have this character named Jack, the Pumpkin King, who kind of the leader, kind of the guy who everyone looks to in this Halloween town filled with monsters and witches and skeletons and shadows on the moon or passing by the moon. And they're always hyped up about Halloween, how scary and how crazy we could get. It has that Tim Burton art style mixed in with some really beautiful stop motion animation. I always keep forgetting that Chris Sarandon voiced the main character Jack. Chris Sarandon, of course, who was the head vampire bad guy in Fright Night, the original, Jerry Dandridge. He was also the police officer in Child's Play, the original. Done quite a bit of stuff, but Child's Play and Fright Night is two most familiar for people. But yeah, I always forget that he voiced this. He didn't do the singing. Danny Elfman, composer, who was with the band, I want to say Oingo Boingo, he did the singing. And really good singer. I mean, when you hear him, just him by himself, and he has a very... I want to say high pitch, but that's not the right term. He has a voice that really carries his songs very well for what they needed to do in this movie. In particular with the song, because the story is that Halloween it's again successful. You have this lady, Sally, voiced by Catherine O'Hara, who's the mom in Home Alone 1 and 2, done a lot of stuff. For the most part, she's silent. She's kind of working for, slave to, however you want to put it, to this evil scientist played by William Hickey, who I remember as the old guy in the first Puppet Master. He was the Puppet Master in the first one. He was one of the old relatives in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. He accidentally burned the tree down with it and stuff. He was on fire and Chevy Chase had to put him out. But anyway, Jack is, even though it's successful, he's just tired of the routine. He's tired of the routine. He's tired of the job. He wants to find another place in life. He wants to find a bit more meaning. So even though it's successful, him and his ghost dog, they're kind of just wandering about, and one thing leads to another, comes across these doors on these random trees, and one of them as we see, is in the shape of a Christmas tree. So he walks through it and he falls in and he sees all the snow, but he doesn't know what it is. So he goes to that song, which he did very titchy. What's this? What's this? There's something in the air. What's this? Ba 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 ba. What's this? What is this? The throwing snowballs instead of heads. And just notices just how different and refreshing and how just un-Halloween it is. And it happens to be Christmas Town. So then he gets the idea of, well, wait a minute, why don't we try this Christmas thing where we're at? And he goes back and he's trying to explain to people, and they just can't grasp it. What, you're hanging heads on the wall? No. Oh, you're hanging feet? You're hanging feet on the wall. No, it's stockings. But the foot's still in it? No, the foot's not in it. It's just like stockings, like socks. So, as Jack is trying to figure this out, he meets Sally. Sally's trying to tell him this is not the right idea, but they don't really have much of a connection at that point. At one point, Jack gets the help of these three kids, Lock, Shock, and Barrel. And their job is to steal Santa Claus, kidnap him. Of course, they accidentally kidnap the Easter Bunny first, but they kidnap Santa Claus. And he even did another song, which I forgot it was in this. It's a song I remember hearing people mentioning. Da 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 da. Here comes Santa Claus, throw him in the box, bury him for years, then see if he talks. I forgot. I didn't remember the lyrics, but I remember the tone and sort of the rhythm of it. I forgot it was from this, so it works as a musical in the fact that, that's right there, 3 songs in a pretty short running time that is still catchy to this day, at least around the holidays. And Jack's wearing the costume, and he wants to get really gung-ho about Christmas, and he tries to do the thing, and tries to deliver presents, but the presents are, of course, of a horrific nature. He doesn't really realize what's going on. He doesn't understand why he's getting shot down. Meanwhile, the Boogeyman, which his song I did not like, the Boogie song, his is the one song I'm like, just didn't do much for me. Just really wasn't interested in that song. I didn't mind his layout of his lair when he has Santa Claus, where it's much more neon, like glow in the dark, like neon type of colors. Brought a little bit of more refreshing look compared to the rest of the movie. I also like the reveal that he has this big old sack that's his skin, and under it is just a bunch of bugs put together to form his body. It's definitely some very creepy images for kids, but it's still appropriate for kids, I would say. I don't think there's anything here that's too far off for kids to see. But it's one of those that it does have that imaginative glint in its eye. Now, because of his short running time, you don't really get to know much about the other characters' backstories, like Jack. You don't really get to know how this town came to be, Jack, how he was before all this. I think the short running time kind of hurts the love story a bit, because it's supposed to be the love story between Jack and Sally. I didn't think it was that strong in this. I didn't think it was that big of a potent subplot in this. It's kind of like she's sort of hanging around him, and she has a little bit of the doe eyes in him, and he barely noses her or says, "Hey, how's it going?" And they have very few interactions, like her watching him sing and kind of be depressed, and then at one point trying to help him, and he's like, what am I missing? They realize he's missing the hat. She tries to warn him, he brushes her off in a nice way. She tries to help Santa Claus, they both get caught, then Jack helps them. See, I do think the love story could have been better developed I think there could have been a bit more emotion you could have strung out of that. So I think that is a bit of a detriment to the film. I appreciate the short running time, but as I said, the love story I think is hurt by. I don't really feel a big sense of connection, especially for Jack liking her. I do feel a bit of her liking him, but Jack liking her, it still kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere by the end of the film. It's like the movie's over. By the way, you should be in love with her. Oh, okay. There's not a lot of him like singing her a love song or thinking about her or daydreaming about her or talking to his dog and what you think about her. Oh, she's all right. There's really none of that. So I didn't. I think that was affected by the short running time. The Buddy didn't seem like much of a character at all in the first half of the movie. He might have popped up like once or twice during the opening, but it's that he's kind of a non-entity until kind of the third act, and then becomes the big bad guy. Maybe there's like a few interactions between him and Jack leading up to Christmas, whether him lying to Jack or pretend to be nice or pretend to go along. So we get a little bit more. Doesn't have to be development, but a little bit more screen time. There's a few, including the three kids mentioning Buddy, and not the YouTuber Buddy, but like I said, there's a few bits here and there I would like to have seen a bit more of. This is actually one of those rare times I would like to have seen maybe 20 more minutes into the film. Because as I said, it's about an hour, 10 hour, and 15. If this was like 95 minutes, that would still be short enough. But it would also still punch up the romance, punch up the Buddy villain character in the first half. So make him much more of a memorable force in the second half. Make the love story when it culminates at the end with the beautiful looking shot. And that's the thing, this is a good visual treat. If sometimes the story's a bit lacking, it's at the very least, like I said, a good visual treat to watch. Like I said, beautiful stop motion animation, great designs. I like the look of Jack with the doll eyes and the bald head and the thin frame and just how bendy and all these poses you get into, especially in the final kind of fight he has with Buddy, and then all the little pretzel-like things that he did too. As I like the look of the other monsters in town. You don't really get to know a lot about them though, except maybe you would say the mayor is always budding Jack. Hey, what do you do? What do you do? The others, like I say, you don't really know much about them. Other than maybe you notice their physical trait. So that's the thing. There's not a lot of like side characters. Probably the noteworthy ones are the three kids lost shotgun barrel. I think one of them is voiced by Paul Reubens. May he rest in peace, Pee Wee Herman. Which would make sense because he worked with Tim Burton on Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and then was the Penguin Oswald's dad at the beginning of Batman Returns. But like I said, the film works because it's short enough that it doesn't take too much of your time, and it's not boring, in my opinion. It's got a beautiful look and art style, thanks to the stop motion animation by Henry Selick and the designs of the world and the architecture of the world. And the beautiful moon shot, like at the end when the two main characters kiss, and you got the moon behind them. Good frame device. Not device, but good framing. Good shots. And again, some catchy songs help as well. I mean, I've lost track how many times people reference "This is Halloween" during the Halloween season from that day on. So it definitely made an impact into the pop culture. I am rather surprised there's never been a sequel, because it's a prominent title, and I mean, hell, they did what, that one, The Grinch, wasn't a sequel, but a reboot, and nowadays it's like they're doing Beetlejuice 2 and other stuff. I would not be surprised if one, like I said, I think about it's the 93, 2003. It's the 30th anniversary, I just realized, of this film. 30th anniversary. And really nothing's been done with it. Now that I think about it, I can't think of anything that's been done for the 30th anniversary of this movie. That's another thing where I'm surprised that there wasn't a sequel or something in the works. I'm not saying it needs one. I'm just, with Hollywood, they like to sequelize movies. And some sequels could be fun, but lately, not too much. So like I said, it would have been nice to have a little bit more depth into some of the characters. Maybe a bit of Sally asking Jack a bit more about why are you so tired of the job? What did you do before all this? Get a little bit more character interactions, a little bit more to impact the love story, so the finale feels a bit stronger for that. But like I say, if you like stop motion animation, if you like that Tim Burton art style, this is definitely a very solid piece of entertainment to watch. It's appropriate for the kids. Like I said, it's got some very catchy songs, has a really good artwork and style, some very cool designs. And again, short enough that it won't take too much of your time and you still go along with your day. So definitely good for, I guess in a way, appropriate both for Halloween and Christmas season. So 2 holidays for the price of one. That's why I was surprised also, like the Christmas thing, like Santa was kidnapped. Then you think maybe like the elves would find out and the elves would take the reindeer. Maybe they go into Halloween Town. Then maybe like the elves and their magic would try to deal with the monsters and whatever they have. So it'd be like the Santa, the elf Christmas characters fighting the Halloween characters. It'd be like this beat up, where's Santa? Well, hey, we're just doing this. And I actually thought that was going to be, probably the first time I saw this, I thought that was going to be the big battle. Like, you're taking our stuff. Instead, it's more the Christmas, him screwing up Christmas for a bit, and Buddy just trying to kill or rape or whatever the hell he's trying to do to Santa. Rape and kill him, and rape him, eat him. Army Hammer style. I don't know, whatever Buddy 299A whatever to do. But with that said, definitely a good one. Definitely one I did enjoy. So, with that said, enough of my rambling. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.